because when you have a problem, what's the first thing you want to know is it just me? Is it a general problem? And this could be with any service you're using, be it an internal server or some build system, or even if you're a public customer, you know, your broadband's down, your TV's not working, whatever, you know, first thing you want to know is it a general problem, or is it just, you know, something specific to your setup, your account? So we thought, these are the common questions. Wouldn't it be great if you could just type a question in natural language and immediately get feedback on what the current solution is? Is it a live problem? So that's the basis of this, what we've called an automated support system. So there's no user interaction, completely automatic.
Yeah.
Okay. Here we
Sorry.
go. Right. Okay. Yeah. So up-to-date support. So it's like a dynamically updated FAQ page. You know, most pages are static. They don't really answer the problem you're having. It's obvious stuff. So that's the basis of what we're trying to solve here. So in terms of the specifics, I'll hand you over to Chibuke.
Yeah. So just to emphasize an updated dynamic FAQ system. So normally FAQ pages are based off a user has asked a question and then someone else answers it. So if it's not been answered by another user, you don't really know about it. But for this one, it actually goes into the database and finds out, okay, other users have been reporting this problem and it has been handed over to like the admin team. What is the admin team doing? Is there an engineer on site? Or is the signal going to be delayed for like another day? Or what's happening? So you can actually just go there and find out what's actually happening in real time. And that's what this is about. So it checks the database and actually gives you information about it. So if you go to the next slide. Okay, so, and then the other sort of bits about this is if you actually like, it could be scaled, so it doesn't have to be just a chatbot, it could be like on the phone. So if you call and rather than waiting on the queue to speak to a human, it could be like the bot that speaks to you and it's like, what's your problem? Then you say, then it checks the database and then it tells you what others have said about it. And if you actually feel like, oh, you still want to speak to a human, then it will direct you to a human. So it doesn't just bypass the human. You still have access to the human if you want to. So that's why if the issue is not being reported, it just says, okay, I haven't heard about it before. I'll forward it on to the admin team. Do you still want to speak to a human? Yes, I do. Okay, go. No. Okay, have a great day. That's it. Okay, I'll let someone else talk about applications.
Okay, so as in terms of services, so we've been building up on a Django framework and in Python, so we're handling all in extraction of the user input in a Django, Python, and then we pass it to Django. So that's sort of the interaction between these two. So there won't be, I think, much to talk unless we see the example. So he's probably going to do a quick demo there, and then we're probably going to add a couple of bits we've missed, but that's probably after the demo.
Yeah, okay. Right, let's see if I can. Let's see. So I'll start the server. And then refresh page.
Okay, so that's sort of the example of how. But again, this is just a demo because the initial idea was about voice recognition, but we thought in 2 days it would be very hard to implement voice recognition. Hence we thought about just having the logic will stay the same behind this. It's just that now we can present our idea on a chatbot sort of version.
Okay, so I'm going to report a problem that, let's say we're an internal customer, someone in the building, and the problem I've got is that AWS is down. So I'm telling the Sky support bot that AWS is down. So it wants a bit more detail, so I'll say can't connect to AWS. Okay, give me a second.
Can you read the responses out loud?
Yeah, sorry. So it was basically saying, okay, give me a second. I haven't come across this issue before, so I'm passing it on to our customer service team. So it's not something that's currently in the database. So in the meantime, it's printing out the top issues that are in the database, so the top 3 reported issues. The formatting's terrible, but we couldn't get it nice. And so now it's saying, would I like to speak to a real person about my problem? So maybe if I go through to an IT support person, they've got a bit more information. But I'll just say no, because I don't want to. And then it says, thank you. So then if I go in...
So this now is another person from, like, let's say another department, having the same issues. Right. And now what happens, she's going to do that again, and I just click that,
So my name is...
Remember, because of the last person actually queried the system, it sent a report to the admin team that someone else has had this issue.
And so they will have updated the database with whatever the status is. So Adam is having the same problem, so he's saying AWS is down. Same thing, can't connect. Okay, so now I'll look into this for you. Okay, Adam, this is a known issue, I'm afraid. One other user has also reported this issue today. Here's the current status from the service team. An engineer is currently looking into this. Hope this will solve your problem. If not, feel free to start a new chat. Thanks for using Kickass. And if we went through again, it'd be like 2 users have reported this problem. And then if that became the top issue, when it reported top issues, that would be the top issue.
Yeah, so the main here idea is that, again, that's chat, but imagine like calling. We all know, we've been like all dealing with the customer services. We're not saying they're bad, it's just like how the system works. And you calling, why would you need to spend, that's what happened to me recently a couple of times. I spent just 5 or 7 minutes just to know, oh, there is like general link outage in my area. So that's what they're going to tell you, and then just disconnect. And I wasted my time, paid a couple of like, well, let's say cents or pounds maybe, perhaps for the connection. And obviously they having problem because queue is adding up, and there's more people connecting to them. So they have to handle this all queries just because there is one problem. Could be small, big, but we know there is a problem, and based on the details the customer provides, we can tell all of these people that we're having a problem, so that could dramatically like drop the queue.
Yeah. And then if they still want to proceed, they can still proceed.
Yeah, if they really want, but just to hear it, okay, there is a problem, okay, sure, go for it.
And it seems like it's quite useful for internal application, because you often do have things like, oh, you can't connect to SNS or something, and someone somewhere knows why. But then it's all word of mouth as to what that problem is. Whereas if there's a centralized system where, okay, the status is there, that you can go and check, then it just seems like it could be quite useful.
But yeah, having
Sky is fighting for reducing time for call centers for a long time now. So I'm not sure what they have in place, how much automation for call centers. I don't know all the details about that, but it's expensive for Sky to keep people to answer the phone. That's like the last thing that they want to do.
Well, I guess we'll talk about it next, the voice. I'll switch to the next slide if that's okay for Demo.
Yeah, sure.
I think that's okay.
Oops, sorry.
Yes, as I mentioned at the beginning, that's also initial idea of voice recognition, just to handle the phone calls. Labeled data sets is probably more like an enhancement in terms of like handling better the data, the extraction, because basically that's the demo. It could be so much more happening there. WebSocket, again, just the improvements in terms of like deployment system, like how it should be served to customers and so on. And just the last one is, I guess, so everyone can, around the world can access it.
Yes, I can emphasize on cloud hosted service. So the way we actually worked on it is that the actual bit that does the middleman is sort of independent from the system. So you can apply it to a local system. You can apply it to something that's global. So it's just like a service on its own. So it's just the middleman. So it gets in data and it spits out data. So it can tell you, oh yeah, I've seen this before, because others go through it. And if it's not seen it before, it will report it to whoever the admin is, and the admin can get back to it. And if you also want to speak to admin personally, you can as well. So that's why it can be cloud hosted.
But there's one more thing to mention. I think it doesn't have only, well, at the moment it has, but in the future we want to extend, probably we forgot maybe to mention here, extend of like a current, because I believe support services, they've got already huge databases, they know more details about customers. So as soon as we identify a customer, we can get these details out, such as like, for instance, link status, payments. Like for instance, payments. Like I believe, like at least some of us, we forgot to pay like bill at least once somewhere, so sometime, and then we realized because they've disconnected us, and again we're calling them just to find out that we forgot to pay bill. That we can also, that could solve. So having access to the current databases in the customer service information, we can deal with also these issues as well.
Because we were thinking along the lines, if we had time, of say if it was an internal person, you could get their customer ID number, then you'd know which building they're in. If they say, oh, we're having connection issues, then you could know automatically, oh yeah, okay, you're in the hub, we know there's a problem in the hub. So you could use lots of different data sources in order to make the experience better. But obviously we didn't really.
Yeah, that's okay. We wouldn't be able to implement that in 2 days. But that's future. That's in the future.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I will get to that stage. So maybe. That's all. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Can I ask a couple of questions about it?
Oh, yeah.
So my first question is, with this demo that you've built, how good is the NLP on that? So when you talk to it, the example you gave is you said AWS problem, and then the second person said the exact same thing, so it literally matched the string. But if you, for example, if you were to say AWS issue, would it still be, at the moment, would it still
can I try? Yeah. So for now, this is just a demo. So the algorithm for actually hashing is very basic. So for now, no, we're just sort of splitting by spaces and just comparing keywords.
But we do pull keywords out of the description, and ideally we would have generated like the whatever we were storing it from. And if we were using a database better, then we could have done better searching. But to get it working, we just had to have the matching title.
But we thought about we meant to implement that. It's just it's more work, I guess.
Sure. I'm out of more like an idea, I guess, than a question. So once you have, I understand you don't have the voice recognition now, but if you were to have that, then I understand that one use case is for someone to deploy it in a call center. So when you call, the IVR system will kick in, and then this will are we able to talk to this before talking to a human?
Yeah.
But would it not also be possible for me to have this on my Alexa or Google Home and talk to it directly about my Virgin connectivity problem?
I can speak about that as well. I actually looked into Alexa.
Without having to call them, basically.
Yeah, I actually looked into using Alexa last night because we actually planned to do that. I was meant to do that this morning. But the way Alexa works right now on the database, the way it actually implements speaking to it, it needs you to give it, the way it works would not really work with that because it doesn't really send conversations back and forth. It just gives it, so you have to give it like slots. So like, if you're telling it you want a name and an answer, and age and an answer, Alexa will go and have a conversation with you and get those data from you. So it's not really working the way we want it to. But we could still implement that with Alexa by just saying, okay, Alexa, get a user's name and title, and Alexa will speak with you and get that from you, and then send it back to us. That's how Alexa works. So for now, this is just doing all the thinking and getting the questions itself. But Alexa doesn't work that way, so we couldn't do that today. I didn't tell them about it.
You lied to us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.